Welcome into the Y'all Show, talk with a Southern accent. And we are getting ready to start a new month. And as a special treat to all y'all, we have a very special guest coming on via Fox News Channel. Pete Hegseth is joining us right now on the show that's all about the South. And if you tune in Fox News Channel, you're likely to see Pete Hegseth on just about every program that's on Fox and all their affiliated channels. Oh, by the way, he's also the author of the brand new book, American Crusade, Our Fight to Stay Free. And y'all, Pete Hegseth is on with us right now. Hello, Pete.
Tom, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Now, it's not often we let people from Minnesota come on a show that's all about the South.
I would rather, listen, I'm born and raised in Minnesota, but I, at heart, a Southerner, married a Southerner. I'd rather be down south if I could be.
Oh, really?
So, I'm with you.
You're
Yes.
talking about your wife, Jennifer?
Yes, she is from, well, her family's from New Orleans. I know Baltimore isn't quite the South, but she counts herself a Southerner. She spent a lot of time down there. And so I have a heart for it. I'm going to find myself down there, just a matter of where.
Okay. Well, we include Maryland. Maryland historically is a southern state, so you can tell Jennifer she can rest easy that we have her in the South. So that's
There you go.
a great thing. Pete, we're so tickled to have you on today's Y'all Show. Of course, you've been on television for a number of years on Fox, but you have got quite a story, I guess, one worth a couple of books now. You've just written your second book, American Crusade, and your story does start in Forest Lake, Minnesota. That's about 30 miles north of St. Paul, and that's right around the Mississippi River. What was it like there in a small town in the Midwest growing up?
You know, I think it was small town USA, not unlike what you would see in the South. I mean, I live in New Jersey now, which is traditionally seen as a blue state, and I'm surrounded in my neighborhood by patriots. I think we have a lot of reservoirs of goodness and patriotism in this country. And Forest Lake, Minnesota was small town USA. You know, we went to my parents' hometown of Wanamingo in southern Minnesota for the Memorial Day Parade, which left a huge imprint on my heart about how special our country is and how all our freedoms were sacrificed for. So community is and civic ritual, the things that we value and the things that we celebrate and highlight are a reflection of what we value. And I think these parades, President talks about it all the time, they're very important. Kids see them. It leaves an imprint on your heart. And so I'm grateful to have grown up in a patriotic, veteran-friendly, hardworking, God-fearing community, not unlike, I think, what you would see in the South, except, it's everywhere in the South. And it's a bit of sometimes an exception to the rule in other places. But where you grow up and how you're raised leaves a huge imprint, obviously.
And after growing up there, you went to New Jersey, the place where I guess you live now, but you went to a place called Princeton to college, so congratulations on your Ivy League education. But while at Princeton, you didn't let your conservative roots go to waste.
No, and unfortunately right now, because I was policy-minded, politically minded, not political activist, just had a rooted set of beliefs, I went there and fought. But a lot of kids go to college and they find it easier to sort of go along with the groupthink, the orthodoxy of leftism, and they come home as socialists and liberals, leftists, frankly. Thank God I played basketball there. I was a member of ROTC, joined the military from Princeton. So I think I had a bit of a different experience than a lot of people, but we forget how young and impressionable our kids are when they go to college, and how often they can be shaped by their professors that browbeat them if they believe in God, if they defend conservative values and defend America. And that's part of how we got where we are. Part of why I wrote American Crusade is we have to come back at them the way they come at us. And if so, we have a fighting chance.
So are we talking today with the founder of what's called the Princeton offense?
Not the founder, just someone who played it.
Okay.
I sat on the bench a lot, but I know I could still write on the back of a napkin every part of the Princeton offense, having been a member of the team for 4 years. We went to an NCAA tournament, NIT twice. I got in a fair amount of games, but man, I still see that offense in my dreams, and I'm teaching it to my kids. That old Princeton backdoor cut is effective, and it was fun. It was a very regimented system. It taught me a lot about how to be a team member.
And it got your cardio up as well. Of course, that came in handy when you decided to join the United States Army. Thank you for your service. You served in the United States Army for 12 years, including tours in both Iraq and Afghanistan. And I still don't know the best term. You didn't win, and I guess you earned it, but there's got to be a better way. You tell us. You got 2 bronze stars. So,
Well, I guess I don't know. I guess awarded. I don't really know what the best way to put it is, but I don't ever wear those medals on TV. I my point is I wear the unit that I served in, because everything is part of the guys you served with, and but I do look at guys that received the Medal of Honor, a couple of which are good friends of mine, and I so revere them wearing it because it represents the valor of an entire generation. And so, yeah, I mean, I did my part. So many people did so much more, that I try to give voice to what our generation went through in those wars.
I can't imagine it's that common for a Ivy League educated scholar to then join the United States Army as an officer. Maybe it happens a lot that I don't know of, but I know you kind of had to
No,
stick out.
there's a few of us. There were only 3 in my graduating ROTC class at Princeton. So contrast that with, say, the Corps of Cadets at Texas A&M that graduates hundreds, thousands, I would presume. We're a very small outfit, but you also I'm friends with a number of guys, because you get hard charging, hard working people, guys that left Princeton and went into the Navy SEALs, went into the Marine Corps, especially in a time of war.
Mm-hmm.
Not as many as you would like. I mean, when you look back at the revolutionary underpinnings of Princeton and the people who were there that were a part of the revolution and went into the fight, now it's a much more detached, sort of elitist class of people who often look down on the military, and often look down on regular folks who join it. And that's unfortunate. So I'm glad there still is an ROTC, and there are people who step up there. But it is the few and the proud, you might say, yes.
We're visiting with Pete Hegseth here on the Y'all Show of Fox News Channel, and also the author of the brand new book, American Crusade. This is the show that covers everything Southern, and we're glad that y'all could tune in to hear Pete as he's made this change from the battlefield now to the airwaves of Fox News Channel. And Pete, before we get into your television career and why you wrote this book, we got to wish you a very early happy birthday. You've got a big day in just a couple of days, and you're hitting a milestone, so congratulations.
Oh, man, you're the first one to tell me that. You don't make me feel old. You're right. I'm hitting the big 4-0 here in a couple of weeks, so it's coming.
Well, you're doing all right there. I want to know some of your hairstyling tips, because you've got a good head of hair there.
You don't want to see it right now, because if I'm not on air, I look like Kramer from Seinfeld.
Oh,
that's
do
how
you?
my hair actually looks. Yeah. So we tame it as best we can for TV.
All right. Well, that sounds good. How did you make the switch from being in the Army to being on air on television?
It was accidental. I was a commentator on Fox and other channels for years on vets and military issues, because I ran a couple of veterans organizations. And I just did it enough that eventually they started to say, hey, have you ever thought about hosting, asking questions? And I did briefly a show on the Blaze when it was in New York City. But more prominently, I was asked to guest host on Fox and Friends, and I'd never done live TV of that magnitude. And it must have gone okay, because they kept inviting me back. And then Tucker Carlson was the weekend. People don't know that. People forget he was the weekend Fox and Friends host for 3 years before the 2016 elections, before he went to primetime. And then he went to primetime, and I took his spot because they needed, they're looking for a conservative to take his slot. And there I was. And suddenly now it's my day job to host Fox and Friends. It was totally accidental. I wasn't looking for a career in TV. Frankly, I'm still not. But if God will bless me with that kind of platform, I will try to use it for his good and the good of the country. And so here I am. I pinch myself. I give my opinion on TV for a living. It's sort of insane, but I'll take it.
Yeah. Well, you do a good job, and we're looking at some old video of you on Fox News Channel hosting Fox and Friends Weekend, and you do all kind of fun stuff from time to time. In fact, I'm watching you do a bunch of push-ups right now. I'm sure that had to be fairly easy for you to knock out.
Yeah, it's fun. That's the thing about a morning show, right? You need to have multiple speeds. You got to be ready to have fun. You got to be ready to laugh. You got to be ready to cry. You got to be ready to bring the hard news or breaking news. listen to other people. It's a team show, so you got to pass the ball. It's not my show. It's Fox and Friends, which is a group show. So if you can do 4 hours of live television where anything can come your way, you're pretty much prepared for anything. And I feel like I've never been nervous on TV because I've been in situations where I've really been nervous, where men's lives are at stake. And this is just, hey, I could mess up on TV. Well, what's the worst that can happen to me?
Yeah, what is the worst thing? But of course, you not only do the Fox and Friends weekend appearances, you also are kind of scattered throughout the Fox family. In fact, I know sometimes you've been on the show that comes on around lunchtime each day, Outnumbered, and you've had, I think, a good time there on that, and you truly have been outnumbered on that show.
Sure, I have been. Yeah, and in fact, little known fact for you and your viewers or listeners, there were 2 people that did the pilot for the show when it first came out, like 3 or 4 years ago, and it was me and Tucker Carlson. We were the 2 people they tested the show out on, and it must have gone okay again. But I've been on that show, once a month or every couple of weeks ever since. And yeah, it's a neat show. And sometimes you got fiery debates, cultural debates. It's you and 4 highly educated, smart women who have great opinions and points of view. And so you gotta be careful. But I know the producers there. I know the hosts there very well. Again, I am honestly just grateful for every chance I get a chance to be on the air. I mean, pinch me, because I'm a fan of Fox and I get a chance to be on too.
Pete, many of us, including myself, have liked what you've done for all the years that you've been on television. Of course, what you did prior to even getting on television, we certainly admire and all that. But my like of you was further increased recently when I saw you on Tucker Carlson's show. And here's a guy, again, 12 years service in the Army, a major, a Ivy League guy twice. You got your undergrad at Princeton, and then you went to Harvard for some postgraduate work. And all the great credentials Pete Hegseth has, you didn't know the capital of Canada. And for that, I salute you.
I didn't. I was up against Jesse Waters for the what's it called? The final exam. And I still don't know. I mean, I should have known. It's Ottawa. I know that now because of the show. But I was thinking of professional hockey teams and trying to think of, cities. And I'm an American. What can I say? I just don't know the capital of Canada.
And you're such an American that oftentimes we don't see it when you're on Fox News Channel wearing your long sleeve shirts, but you showcase that American pride in a way I've never seen before, right on your right arm.
Yeah, I mean, I put "We the People" right on my forearm, and a cross and a sword on my forearm as well, which represents Matthew 10:34. And just listen. I know what and Live Free or Die, the cartoon that Benjamin Franklin wrote in, I believe it was 1750. I can't remember, or 64, I think, about how if we don't unite as a country, the British will divide us. I know what I believe, and I'm happy to put it on my sleeve and hopefully inspire a few people in the process.
And again, Pete has just authored the brand new book, American Crusade, and this is his second book now out on Hatchet. And what are we going to find when we go find this on our newsstands across the country? What's in there that's a little bit different from what you are talking about on television?
It's extremely candid, extremely honest. I'd like to think it's bold. It will inspire you. It will infuriate you. It will, I think, terrify you. And I'd like to think at the end of it, you will come away with a pathway of what is required as free citizens to keep our country. And I'm proud of the support, from people like Sean Hannity and Tucker Carlson and Mark Stein, and the President of the United States and other people who have supported the book. But more importantly, I've been heartened by the response I've gotten from, regular folks across the country who have read it and been inspired by it. And I hope your listeners will feel the same way.
Again, it's American Crusade, Our Fight to Stay Free. 352 pages. You didn't slack off when you wrote this one, Pete.
No, I didn't mess around. It's a real deal. Yep.
All right. And again, this is available at PeteHegseth.com is the website. You also have the Twitter account at Pete Hegseth. And you can find Pete on the Fox News channel, on Fox and Friends Weekend, and all other types of shows on the Fox News channel. Happy early birthday to you. I know you got your hand full. You got 7 kids, Keith.
You can
Pete,
hear a few
that's
of them
quite
in
a
the
lot.
background.
Yeah.
You can hear a few of them in the background.
Yeah,
Yep.
7 of them. That's more than you need for the Princeton offense.
That's right. That's right. So we'll cut a few before it's all done.
All right.
Yep.
Pete, thank you very much, and thank you for coming on the
Thank
Y'all
you.
Show. And you tell Jennifer to keep that Southern pride going.
Oh, she's got it. No worries. Thank you so much.
All right, Pete Hegseth, everybody. And that wraps up our conversation on this, the Y'all Show, and our visit with author Pete Hegseth of Fox News Channel. More of the Y'all Show is coming right up. Y'all don't go anywhere.